So here's an idea. Why don't they just pre-print the ballots with the boxes already checked for Scott Walker and the other Republicans? That'd make it so much simpler, don't you think? That way, they wouldn't have to worry about voter ID and who's allowed to vote. They certainly wouldn't have to file lawsuits complaining about ballot design. They'd have exactly the ballot they want, exactly the result they want. Problem solved. The problem is called democracy, with a small d, although it has plenty to do with that other similar word, Democrat, with a capital D. See, when enough large D Democrats exercise their small d democratic voting rights, Republican candidates don't always win. Can't have that. Now, there are a couple of ways Republicans could deal with that. They could run better candidates. They could take more popular positions. They could run more effective campaigns. Or they could do everything they can to keep some of those Democrats at home on Election Day. That's what the voter ID fuss is all about, as anyone with even an ounce of candor will admit. The voters, the voting blocs that tend to lack a valid ID, are many of the same groups that tend to vote for Democrats: college students, the elderly, minorities, poor people. The Republicans say they're worried about voter fraud, even though the only kind of fraud, voter impersonation, that an ID card might prevent is about as likely as an invasion of flying saucers. Actually, that's not fair. More people have seen flying saucers. But hey, you can never be too safe, right? There's always the opportunity for fraud, Republicans insist. Sure, just like there's always the opportunity for space invaders. And if the GOP thought those little green men in the spaceships leaned to the Democrats, you know they'd mess with them too. For now, though, they'll just mess with black men and brown men and college men and poor men and the women in all those categories as well. And that's the thing about that ballot design lawsuit. They don't even have to win it to win it. They simply have to get it out there and add to the impression that everything about voting this year is so messed up, so chaotic, that some of you, you know who you are, shouldn't even think about showing up. Just stay home. Stay home and watch Scott Walker's victory speech. Like I said, problem solved.